Hey everyone, Corrie here, coming in to do our weekly channeled message. This message is being recorded on November the 28th. I think it's, November the 28th. And sorry, there wasn't one out for last week or for the weekend, but life just gets busy. So here we are, and here we go. So for this week, for November the 28th, following us in through the new month coming into December, we are in Sagittarius season. And Sagittarius has a very kind of like aiming for like forward, like that forward thinking, a bit of persistent, not a bit, a lot of persistence, I feel like is in the energy right that is with us right now. And so as I'm being able to feel and see through this energy, is that I feel this sense of like a constant, persistent, and like nagging feeling within ourselves that we really truly have to go even further into our sense of awareness, into our sense of self, like really truly getting to the essence of who and what we are and why we're doing what we're doing in life. And so there's also a time of really truly cleaning things up. We're coming to the end of the season, end of the year. It feels like it's a time to clean energy, to clean things up around us. And I've been rearranging my space. As you can see, I'm in a different direction because I'm really truly cleaning every corner and cleaning every space. So there is still a lot of stuff not organized because I'm not rushing it just to put it back. And that's our lives. Don't really rush to kind of put things in place because the year end is coming. It doesn't mean everything has to be in place by the time the year is coming. It's really truly cleaning out the corners. And so it's really about making sure that you don't rush the process of yourself. Make sure that you take the time to really think about what it is you want to see manifesting coming into December, coming into the end of the month, knowing that it is the ending of the year, but it's only the ending of the year because we're told so, right? We're told that it is another cycle over because we've created those cycles. We've created time. We've created those things, and we go by our cycles are day, night, seasons, like those things we didn't create. They're natural. And so because we added the calendar, so we have the calendar, we have time, we have those things that kind of put that extra pressure upon you to be and do and to get things done. And then we throw in these experiences like Christmas and these holidays. And so everything becomes a why. And on this day, we have to do this. And on that day, we have to do that. And so there's a lot of pressure. And there's a lot of pressure being placed upon people to really, truly show up at those times. Like, oh, you have to, you're obligated to, it's your duty, it's your family, it's your people. You have to be there. So really, truly, really work hard at not doing that to people this year. Please, 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 please. And I'm going to do a whole video on what that causes for people and the impact that it has upon people to push and pull people into our experiences and wanting them to be a part of our experience, and in the influx of added pressure that it gives to people to have to show up to be. And it really truly takes away that sense of positivity. So every moment is an opportunity for us to really truly think about how we are communicating through that want and desire, and what are we trying to reenact, right? So if you have those childhood memories of a Christmas season, if you have those childhood memories of like that, what you thought was the perfect Christmas, right? Everybody showed up, every family member came, everybody sat to the table, everybody created that experience for you as a child. Or you may be the total opposite of that, and just like always the same. You always waited and hoped the next Christmas was going to be better than the next. Whichever side, whichever spectrum you're in, whichever part of that you're in, is like you cannot repair, fix, you can't recreate. No matter if you use your grandmother's dishes, no matter if you sit at the same table, no matter if you have changed everything in your life and you're going to create it different, is that everything will end up having similar feelings because your expectations become so high, and you place those high expectations upon everyone else to be that it's doomsday, right? It's that sense of, it's never going to give you that sense of that feeling, because that feeling you had was only a piece of the picture. There was so many other things that were happening around, like just say that shitty Christmas, and that thing of you didn't get that one toy, you didn't get that one gift you wanted. Well, what else was happening why you didn't get that one gift? But through the eyes of a child, through the previous versions of ourselves, if we live in our future from that previous version of ourselves, trying to reenact, recreate, even from year to year, it's never going to be the same. And so letting it go and setting people free and giving people the opportunity to show up, including setting, your boundaries around what you're able to do this year, what you can do, what you can give. And maybe you don't have it to give this year. And I don't mean financially, I mean emotionally. It's not just financial, it is emotional. What's in your emotional bank? How much power do you have? How much energy do you have? How much do you have to be able to show up and put a smile on when you don't have it? Right? It's the same thing with telling people to just get over things. You don't just get over things. It don't just happen that way. And even when you're telling someone that just get over it, it's already having an impact upon your emotions, and you're already in an emotional story. So how about you just get over it? Try that. And it's not possible. It is not that easy. But moving forward, pivoting, changing mindsets, really truly setting ourselves free of those things are possible. It just takes knowing tools, getting to know ourselves. And so when we really truly stop looking into that self and we look outward of ourselves and think, what else is to me? What else is there what else is there for me to explore? And that's the energy that we're in this month. And it's big time around us. But we also have the energy of we're really starting to see, and us that do predictions hate to say, I told you so. And we don't want to have to say that, because we really want to hold on to hope. And we really hope predictions don't really, always come out to be truth in any way. What it means is that there is an energetic, there's a ball of energy, there's an energetic tie and connection that makes it possible that something may unfold this way or that way, right? Like that things are happening, that we can see it. So we're seeing it right now, and we've been calling this for a long time, and we're seeing people finally like tired, exhausted. We're seeing it in China. We called this whole energy of, like people really truly coming out and speaking truths, like their truths from their experience, from being on the inside in big establishments, exposing it, coming truth. And also we're seeing big false, how someone can take a story, sell everyone the story, and be able to convince everyone of that story, and then seeing the crippling, seeing the effects of it as the story unravels and it turns out to not be true. And trust me, I've had that happen to me. I've literally had that happen when I truly, honestly believe through the eyes of somebody I love dearly, their story, their experience, everything they were telling me. And I accepted it because I try to not to, because my job is not to criticize, is to know that everyone has their story, and their story is their story, and they believe it to be true. And they hope that everything will fall into place until it crumbles. And when it crumbles hard. And so we're innocent to our experiences. So even if you were an investor in some of these big places that are now crumbling because they were built on nothing but fluff and lies and half-assed truths, that you were innocent to it because you believed it, because somebody else told you this is ironclad, it's acceptable. And so those places within our lives is that, when we start to pivot and to be able to change our stories and change the direction, is that we have to really clean up our own energy and our own truth. Why did I want to believe that? Why did I want that to be true so bad? Why did I want to reenact that so much? What am I holding on to? Who do I want to be in people's lives? What do I want in my life that I keep standing there hoping and wishing and believing and listening? And so sometimes, you got to walk away from the story that you keep listening to. And that includes the story you tell yourself. That's huge this month. And it's like, I really can't emphasize how much this thread of energy is pulling, because on the other side of that, on that sense of, on the side of that tries to pull us away from that, is the sense of, if you don't do that, if you're not there for them, What if something happens to them? If you don't believe them, if I don't get involved, if I don't invest there, if I lose my friends, if I lose my circle, if I lose my crowd, who cares? And that's a hard one to accept, but it's like, who really cares? Who really cares? You care. And why do you care so much about the things that truly are not bringing you closer to your joy and your satisfaction, your sense of happiness in this life? You care so much because you want to take others with you. You want to be able to, or you want to finally have that one experience, that one moment. You want to be something. Why do we want to be it so bad? Why do we want that so much in our lives? Why is that such a big pull? And why do we look to others to get validation to our worth? And why do we need that sense of gratification from everybody showing up to make you happy? And I want you to really think about this. Imagine being at a Christmas dinner. Everybody came, you guilted everybody, or not you, somebody guilted, maybe you. You got guilted, shamed, made to feel guilty. All these assumptions were made of why you needed to be there. And now 80% of the people at the table are not there by choice. 80% are there because they probably wanted to do something else, but they sacrificed just because of the guilt and the shaming to be at that table, to be in the presence of your dream, what you wanted, what somebody else wanted. Like, reverse it if it's you. Now really look at that. Really look deep. And so then everybody is putting on the mask, putting on the face, pretending. And you're saying, see, aren't you glad you came? Didn't you have the best time? And not saying they're not enjoying that experience, but it's totally okay with you that somebody sacrifices all of that within themselves to satisfy your story. So your needs got met, what you needed got met, but it came at the cost of somebody else. And when it's coming at the cost of somebody else, but it's satisfying you and you're content with that, what does that say about your emotions? It says we have to really look at the level of emotional and spiritual maturity that we are accepting within ourselves, and we are normalizing, and we're convincing ourselves that it is acceptable. And you'll just neglect and ignore the things you don't want to see, you don't want to hear, as long as people show up to create that experience. And then you're telling yourself a story that was great. Everybody was so happy. Everybody loved it. Never mind, they didn't want to come. I got my story. And now I fulfilled that self-prophecy of this is why we do this. Now I will do the same thing to everybody again next year. And everyone else will spend a whole year building up, waiting for this to happen again, feeling that guilt, feeling that pressure, feeling that, right? And so when we clean up our energy, when we get clear and honest, when we get clean, clear, and honest with ourselves, we realize how that underdeveloped emotional self, believed to be true, programming has had such a hold, and why the narratives of our story and the characters that play it out are so important into keeping the past alive and keeping you to have an old feeling instead of creating new experience. What if you only had the 20% at the table? And it was the 20% at the table that absolutely loved the experience, wanted to have the experience, and it didn't look like before, but it was a new experience, but you were able to have that experience and just say, this is what we're doing. My doors are open. Everyone's welcome. If you don't want to come, that's fine. I totally understand. I get it. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? So really, truly put that in perspective in all areas of your life. Forcing kids to play sports they don't want to play because you're trying to live out your childhood dream through your children. but doing jobs, doing things around your own home when you don't have the energy for it, and knowing that you can probably afford to bring somebody in to help you do it, but you choose not to, because then you got nothing to complain about. Because then you're like, well, then I got that self-righteous journey that I get to go on and say, look what I did, and I did this, and nobody else helps me, and I'm exhausted, and I'm tired, and it's just exhausting, tired me. I'm just getting more and more exhausted and tired, but it has to be done. Then you become the hero of your own story. And as long as you are a hero of the own story that you create, then you'll always have that feel good. You'll always have that sense of satisfaction that you accomplishment. That's where the martyr complex comes in. And that's where the white knight comes in. That's where all of those things come in that are complexities that then make it complicated for people around you, that then make people feel guilty, that make people feel ashamed, that make people feel like they need to jump up and do things. But it's like, that's where super independence also gets in. So there's a lot of cleaning, and in my own journey and in my own place is really truly, I've recognized those things. And in this energy of what we have right now and why it's coming up, was I really realized that I was even closing off this space and closing in, and I was reinventing a part of my past as the card reader, as when I first started in this industry, because there was a feeling I was still trying to seek. And that was a feeling before it was a career, it was a hobby. And when it was a hobby, it was fun. And when it was just a hobby, I had no expectations. It wasn't a life. It wasn't my life. I still had another life. I still lived in another life. I still experienced another life. Doesn't mean it was all great, but there was another experience. And I was pulling in everything about what made it feel like the hobby for me again. And so it was becoming a place of where my creativity of who I am today was actually being sucked out. And I found myself with old energy coming in, and I wasn't able to get things done that needed to be done for who I am today. This is my life. This is who I am. And I never started this journey for anyone else. This was never for anyone else. This, my connection to my channel, this being able to connect in, this, my relationship to God, to Jesus, to the angels, to the angelic realm, to the divine presence, to all that exists, to my ability to be able to travel into the depths of the darkness and come back. All of that energy and all of that truth and all of those creations and all of that was originally so that I could use my gifts to bring me into who and what I was really intended to be upon this earth. And because I was everything for everyone. And in that journey, this life unfolded. And a part of me was feeling that sense of, it was so much simpler when it was a hobby. It was so much simpler when I didn't have to do nothing. I didn't have to be anywhere. And I'm like, okay, now look at the have. Why did you have to? You didn't. Put your hand in a bucket and take it out. Is there a hole? No. And there is no hole because the water just fills that space. There's nothing. I don't really matter in the big scope of things in a big world. I don't have to be here. I don't have to do this. I don't have to, the world is not going to stop. The world is not going to stop healing on its spiritual journey. People are not going to remember me on YouTube. Like there's, for the general part, that small amount of people that are in my hand know me. And no matter if it's 100,000, that's still a small amount in comparison to the big picture, right? So what is that percentage within our lives? What brings us that sense of satisfaction? And so knowing that I am who I am because I have fought hard to allow the sense of myself to be here for me to feel that sense of satisfaction within myself, that for once I am not apologetic for being me. And I'm living in that truth. I'm living with that reality. And in that, I am finding that I am now cleaning things up, removing things again, taking things back out, not getting rid of a lot of those things because they're cards and stuff that are important, but really, truly, what matters to me and what fills my space, what fills my heart. Bring that in perspective and bring that to you today. And I really want you to really think about this over the next few days. If you're listening, as you're watching, really, truly think about this. Allow yourself to process this. Think with your heart, not your mind, so that you're not going, oh my God, I've done this so many times, and then you're feeling guilty. It's like, oh, this is an opportunity to live in the moment and change this moment right here, right now. I can be the change. I can be the pull. I can be the pull on my own heart that says it's now time to really, truly clean and clear up my own energy, to level up, to emotionally grow, to mature, because we are coming into a new year and we are leveling up and we are changing and we're evolving. And there's so many things. If you work in ascension and you understand like realms and dimensions, and you get the 3D, 5D. And I try to do these from a place. I always ask for channel to make this relatable as much as we can, and then I'll do the crazy out there channel messages. But to make these relatable for everyday people who are living everyday lives and that really truly are just doing the best that they can do. And you don't need to give a shit about what's about all of the other language that's been created. You have to really truly listen to the vibrational energy that is happening within you, that knocking on your chest, that nagging feeling, that sense of gut feeling that you have. What is my body telling you? Because the one thing that will not lie to you is your body. You will tell yourself many lies. You will try to create many stories, all of those things. And you have so many thoughts that are going through on a daily basis. And when we can truly allow ourselves to flow through the thoughts, just know that we're here to do better than we did the day before, then that's what matters the most. Have a beautiful week. Much love. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.